groove are you now? And kind of 2 weeks out here, you feel like everything's on schedule?
Oh yeah, we're full speed. We've had a good preparation so far. We finished our finals this week. So it's been a little bit of a juggling act this week between recruiting and finals and practice. So, but Saturday was a great day for us. It was a kind of a set the tempo type of day. I thought our guys responded very well. And so we've got 100% football focus right now. With school being done, and we've got this whole week to try to prepare our football team for battle against LSU. It's going to take a really great preparation to give ourselves a chance. So that's what we're trying to do. I was just telling the guys over there, trying to have a balance. You can prepare too much for an opponent. So just trying to strike a balance between LSU preparation, individual technical development of our guys, good on good type work, just working on Clemson, and then also player development of our young guys, trying to make sure we take advantage of the extra time that you get in bowl preparation to create some momentum with those guys that have been on scout team all fall and all that, and developing them and give them some confidence going into January.
You're going to see a heck of a defense, as you know. You've got a heck of an offense. They've seen guys like Manziel and McCarron. They've seen some really good offense. When you study and get ready for LSU, you kind of see, we can have Taj do this against them. We can maybe do this with our running game. And I know you've been all about preparing from your standpoint, but you kind of comparing, contrasting what you can do offensively to what you see on film from how they've had to defend.
Sure. Well, first of all, this is a top 10 defense. We've seen two of these. They all look the same. You can find a top 10 defense. They all look the same. They're all great up front. That's where it starts. Just change their jerseys, whether it's Florida State, South Carolina, LSU. Just put them in different jerseys. You can't tell. They're great up front players. And they're very athletic and fast on the back end. This is probably the biggest group of secondary guys that we've seen. They're all 6 foot or better, and one of them 6'4", or something. Excuse me, 6'3", corner 24. So this is a very complete defense, and their style of play is different from probably anybody we've seen all year as far as just the physical nature that they have in the football team. As far as 3rd and 10, doesn't matter. They're going to run the power. They might run a trick play and toss the power. That's about it. So it's a different style of play from what we see week to week. But our team's excited about it. It is a good matchup. When you prepare against a team like this, or any team, you look at common opponents. You look at when you look at all their games, but then you have cut-ups. You break the film down, and what we may have a certain formation or personnel grouping that we like, and so obviously you're going to study all of that that you have on tape from all those other opponents that they played, and then you start to formulate your game plan. You start to figure out an identity of what they like to do, and listen, great teams have tendencies. That's why they're great teams, because they're good at what they do, and they're not trying to trick anybody. You have to be able to block them and execute. So it comes down to execution, and in a game like this, just like the Florida State game, the South Carolina game, as I talked to our team, 2 top 10 teams, to win those games, I mean, there's 3 or 4 plays that you just have to make. And when both teams, unless something just happens drastic, that's unusual, and a game gets out of hand, when 2 good teams are competing, head to head like that, it's 3 or 4 plays. And in our last game and in the Florida State game, we got the lead in the 3rd quarter and had a chance to win both in the 4th. But there's a few plays that we've got to get over the hump with, and this is another opportunity to do that against, again, one of the best defenses in the country.
Coach, this time of year, aside from bowl matchups, a lot of the ink and the broadcast is about recruiting. I know you can't talk about individuals. I know that. All of us know that. But would you like to see an early signing date for football, something similar to basketball?
Well, I don't know exactly what basketball has, but I would be all for an early signing date. I sure would. You know, some people, everybody's got their opinions and all that. For me, I would prefer it to be, say, like September 15th or October 15th. Maybe have a mid-season signing date, and then have our normal first Wednesday in February signing date. Because what that would do is, I think it would solve a lot of problems. First of all, that come about in the recruiting process. So many of these guys, they know what they want to do, and then the other part of it would be that it would allow you from a coaching standpoint. Because listen, you know, when we accept a commitment, hey, I mean, we're all in. I mean, we're in, and then all of a sudden you carry a guy, because you only have so many numbers. And it's hard to recruit a guy when you don't have a scholarship for him. And that's just, you know, that's the tough part about it. And then all of a sudden the guy backs out on you late. Well, it's hard to go and recruit other guys, because most guys have made their decisions now. The recruiting cycle for football has moved an entire year, and almost a little bit beyond that. It's so different. It's become a little bit more like basketball. That's why basketball had the early signing period and all that. So I think we're the only sport that doesn't have one. So it doesn't make any sense to me. And you know, if you got, you know, just look, last year and this year, the great majority of our class was already committed before we ever played a game. And so if one of those guys doesn't sign with you October 15th or October 1 or September, whatever that day is, well, at least you know now he's really not committed. And so you have an opportunity to continue to recruit other guys and give other guys opportunities. You know, and if they do sign, then you can get focused on, you know, finishing up your class or next year's class and doing a good job from an evaluation standpoint, and not having to waste a lot of time when everybody knows what they want to do. So, yeah, I would be very much for an early signing.
You've had a good plus-minus all year long. This LSU team forces an insane amount of turnovers, like 30-plus. I mean, Taj has been pretty good, but is there extra emphasis to him to be careful, you know, make sure you know where you're throwing, that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, this is because of their front that they have. You know, they're afforded the luxury of being able to play really tight coverage. They can get up in your face and challenge you, because, you know, they don't have to cover guys for long. With the guys they got, they can really create pressure. And then when they do bring pressure, whether it's a fifth man or a sixth man, you know, they're very fast on the back end and athletic, and they can hold up. You know, they've done a great job of that. But when it's tight coverage, there's tip balls. You look at the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss probably did as good a job against them as anybody from a throwing game standpoint. Hit some big plays, got behind them a few times, but then live by the sword, die by the sword. 2 big turnovers inside their own 20 probably cost them the ball game, and tip balls. Balls getting, you know, tight coverage. I mean, listen, that's open. That's open against these guys. So being able to fit those balls in those tight windows and put the balls on the front shoulders and a little bit behind. One of the interceptions was just a little bit behind. Next thing you know, the ball's tipped, it's up in the air, and here they go the other way. So yeah, it's critical, and from a ball security standpoint, that, to me, I say it all the time to our local media, the turnover margin is the #1 stat to me. It's when we win the turnover margin, we win a lot of games. We win a lot of games. When we lose the turnover margin, we are in harm's way. So that's just a critical statistic. This will be the same in this game. Ball security is critical. Look at our bowl game last year. I mean, you know, it affected everything. It's like a disease just spreading. You know, not that I'm still bitter about that fumble that Ellington had going out. You know, you're getting ready to just take the lead and feel like you're in control of the game. Next thing you know, the ball comes out of a pile somehow, and it goes 100 yards the other way. And then all of a sudden you come back and it's 2 more turnovers in a row. That's a hard thing to overcome mentally, emotionally, momentum. So flip side of that is when you're creating them, you have that same effect. So ball security in a game like this, when it's 2 good teams, it's hard to overcome a negative turnover margin.
For your returning players, is there a desire to, you can't erase what's already been posted, but to have success this year Because last year was a bad taste.
You know, I know there'd be a lot of talk about that. I just think that you always want to win. You know, I mean, that's really the biggest thing. You want to win, and this is the last time we're going to play until next September. So, you know, sure they all draw on all their past experiences and all that, and we want to play better, perform a little bit better. But you know, the number one driving force is just to try to win and finish the season, create a little momentum going into the offseason. Everybody understands the positive feel that comes from winning that bowl game and going into that off-season program. All these guys coming back, they know what's coming. They know what January, February, and March brings. It's a lot of work, and you're going to do it no matter what, but it sure does put a little more spring in your step and get back started coming off a bowl win. I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. Even if you're a 6-win team and you're in a bowl game, you want to win that game. And you know, there's anytime you go out there and you cross the line, there's a winner and a loser. And as I tell our team all the time, the fun's in the winning. Our guys understand that. It ain't no fun losing. So fun's in the winning, and we've had a great year this year. Fortunately, these guys have been able to taste the thrill of victory a lot in the last couple of years. So this game is just another opportunity for us to maybe take another step against a great football team. You know, our 2 losses this year against 2 great football teams, and you know, we want to try to finish the deal against these guys.
It's the fact that you started your season here, you know, in the Chick-fil-A kickoff, closing here in the bowl. For the kids, the experience of what it is, you know, playing a big game with magnitude, big city of Atlanta, does that help you in terms of your preparation, but more importantly, keeping the kids focused?
Yeah, I think so. I think they understand, you know, the stage a little bit. You know, I know Auburn didn't have a great year, and we might have been a little bit of a part of that. You know, again, kind of what we're just talking about, that psyche, that momentum, you know, this and that. That was a huge game. That was a huge game, especially when you look at, they got 2 new coordinators on both sides of the ball. There was a lot of unknowns for us going into that game, but we hadn't played on that stage in quite a while, and everybody talked about all off season, all summer was how we played in the bowl game, and so that was, you know, that's all anybody wanted to talk about. And the last time we had been in this venue in an opening game in the Chick-fil-A kickoff classic, you know, out against Alabama, it wasn't real pretty. So there was a lot of that going around. And these guys, and we really played a very good game. We had a lot. Now we had a lot of penalties and some critical turnovers that probably kept it a little bit closer than it could have been. But the guys competed really hard. And so just, I think, having been in that, because it felt like a championship environment. You know, the Chick-fil-A people do such a fantastic job. When you got off the bus and you're going through the Tiger Walk, you got the opposing fans and your fans, and then you step out there in that Georgia Dome. It's a 50-50 split. I mean, it was quite a stage, and national TV, and it's your first game, and you want to get off to a good start. So I think our guys understand that, and they, you know, this is as good a venue as it gets to play a college football game at. So yeah, I think that helps us, but it helps LSU too, because they've been there many times, and I think somebody told me they're 9-1 in the Dome, so it's not a very good stat. But I think our guys are excited about being able to play here, and especially playing. I mean, this is as good a game as there is in any BCS game, in my opinion. And
well, you'd only won that night.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody's going to be
everybody's watching. In fact, I had a senior. I won't call his name. He sent me a message the other day. You just, you know, he hadn't gotten invited to any All-Star games yet. And he sent me a text and he just said, you know, Coach, he said, I'm certainly not looking ahead. He said, you know, have you heard anything about any possibilities of me getting an All-Star game? I said, I sure have. I said, it's the Chick-fil-A Bowl, December 31st against LSU, and every scout in the country is going to be watching. So, national TV. So yeah, it's a great opportunity, great platform for these guys.
Is there a thought about Montgomery, a kid that you probably saw a little bit on film in high school, and you know, he left state. Maybe you thought you'd never have to go against him again.
Yeah. He. I had a very brief recruiting opportunity with him. I had just gotten the job, and we were way behind, but you know, we had an opportunity to get in front of his mom and visit him a little bit, but you know, never really anything serious. He pretty much was heading out, but he's had a great career. I have followed him. I followed him, you know, his whole career, and kept up with him. And, man, he's done a tremendous job, and has developed into a big-time pro prospect. But I'm sure he'll be fired up, getting an opportunity. He probably never thought he'd have an opportunity to play against Clemson. So, you know, it's that'll be a nice side story coming into it.
Coach, how important is it when you play here in Atlanta to let the high school players in this area see your program and see what you can do? This is such a hotbed for football.
Yeah, we were talking about that with the writers earlier, and that you know, we look at Georgia and North Carolina as in-state. You know, just with our geographic location, we're kind of nestled right on the borders. We put a ton of coaches here. South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. We say, all right, this is kind of our in-state, this I-85 corridor right here. And you know, you look at Atlanta. There's I don't know, 4 million people in Atlanta. That's about all we have in the whole state of South Carolina. So just from a number standpoint alone, there's a school every 4 miles, and they're bursting at the seams. So there's a lot of talent here, and when Clemson's been good, there's been a lot of Georgia players on the roster, and you know, we're gonna continue to recruit this state well. But I think that we've kind of built our brand back in this state over the last few years. That was a real emphasis. You know, when I got this job, if we're going to be successful, this is where we got to do a good job. And our coaches have done a great job with developing relationships. Our administration's done a good job in giving us great facilities so that we can compete. And then we've been able to win. And so, you know, I mean, we're back-to-back 10-win seasons. Hadn't happened to Clemson since the 80s. I think we're one of only about 5 or 6 teams that's been ranked 28 weeks in a row. So we've been consistently kind of building our brand back. So it's a great opportunity for us and for these guys around this area to see that, hey man, we can come to Clemson and achieve all of our goals. And not only are we winning on the field, we're winning off the field. You know, our graduation rates, our APR rates are as good as anybody in the country. So it's a special time to be a part of this program, and I don't have any doubt our future's very bright and the best is yet to come.
All set.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Is that it?
Sun hook you there.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
You guys ready? Yeah, man. Oh, sweet. Thanks, Coach. Okay, I'll see you.